This week on the show, we have two guests. Yes, two for the price of one. And we are discussing the benefits of satellite radio and how they can contribute to safety and driver retention. That's next. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast.
Hey, boys, welcome to the podcast. We'll start with David. David, can you say a couple of words to introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers?
Yeah. Hey, Chris. Good to see you. David Boss here from SiriusXM. I'm the fleet and retail manager for a business in Canada. And been with Sirius coming up on 4 years. Been with SiriusXM.
Good deal. Awesome. And Joe, I know you're not from Canada. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey, Chris, I am Joe.Knuckley. I live in South Carolina. I've been with SiriusXM for a little over 7 years. Been in the trucking industry for about 15 years. Just enjoy doing what I do and working with fleets to help them better themselves.
All right. Well, Joe, we'll start with you. How in the world are you working with Sirius and helping fleets better themselves?
Well, I'd like to start off with distracted driving. Obviously, 70% of all wrecks are caused by distracted driving. So anything we can do to reduce that at all speaks numbers and speaks volumes. So obviously with SiriusXM being built into the controls of the steering wheel, helps the driver not obviously look down at the dial as much, change the dial as much. Also, SiriusXM is coast to coast radio. So generally they can give 5 presets and they're able to use those 5 presets across while they're driving across the states or Canada.
Yeah, it was many years ago when I got a rental car and they had Sirius installed. And it was my first experience in going for a long drive and not having to change damn radio channels and search.
Yeah.
Jesus. David, how does it all work up here in Canada in the Great White North?
Yeah. I'm calling it, I'm speaking to you from Niagara, so it's not as cold for us yet, but I think it will be soon. And, as we come into the winter months, I have a lot of customers and a lot of drivers that use SiriusXM. They rely on our content and our product while they're on the road. So kind of a busy season for us, kind of getting everybody set up for the winter months.
Well, and you mentioned listeners and everything. There is an awful lot, I think, of content directly pointed at the trucking industry in Sirius. Joe or David, who would like to tackle that one?
Joe.
All right, Joe. So I am old. Obviously, there is Road Dog Trucking, which is pretty much one of our best stations, I'd say, or top stations for trucking. It's 24/7 trucking all the time. Anything from women in trucking to taxes to health to how to get your business off the ground. How to save money, all types of different aspects of the job are talked about on that radio station. So that's a really, it's a great place for truckers to feel at home, to feel other people in the industry, to understand their complaints, their problems, and evolve from there. But it's a great tool, I think, in the industry.
Yeah, and before we hit the record button, we were talking about what show is it that has a lot of call-ins for the drivers, Dave?
Well, there's a few of them. Dave Nemo's on right now on weekday mornings. Dave's really popular in the trucking industry. I think he's been in the business for upwards of 40 years. We've got the Women in Trucking show, which is on the weekends on Saturday, and you'll hear some Canadian content as well. And, during the week, we've also got Casey Phillips on, which is a live call-in show. And there's a lot of great content there. And I think, as Joe was alluding to, these drivers are on the road a long time. So, these shows kind of become their friends in many ways. But yeah, a lot of advice just about how to take care of yourself. They're alone out there, and I think it plays a pretty big part.
Well, if I could jump in, I was going to say I've got Sirius in my vehicle. It's not quite the big rig that everybody else is running, but I'm quite impressed. That Road Dog trucking is very informative. There's a ton of information in there that you mentioned, Dave and Joe, and very impressive. And I do a fair bit of traveling around Ontario and even out to Eastern Canada in my vehicle. And what's interesting is you don't lose that station. I could go from here to Toronto and lose the radio station I have locally, but I'm not losing a station. And so I'm not having to search around finding it and going, I was right in the middle of that conversation. I really wanted to hear what that guy was going to say. Well, that just kind of simplifies it. It just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, it's also a lot less distraction too, right? The drivers, when they go out on the road, they can preset the channels they want to listen to. And to a certain degree, they're having hands-free control of their audio. So you're not plugging in a phone and trying to drive down the highway with a big trailer behind you. And for the fleets, it's for the owners of these large fleets or small fleets, it's important for them as well, right? They know that they're providing a benefit to their drivers that makes them a little bit safer on the road. And to your point, it's coast to coast. So they can choose what they want and hit the highway, and they also have a little more entertainment perhaps than just listening to their local station.
And I know when I started playing with it and going through it, oh my gosh, the genres of music, the talk radio, there's so much entertainment. It fits everybody, I'm sure. I don't know that there's anybody going to be missed in there. So it's very impressive.
Yeah, I came to SiriusXM as a subscriber. That's what, so when I started working here a few years ago, I was really excited about it because I was so into the content. But yeah, you'll find I like Willie Nelson, Willie's Roadhouse. But I also like Hair Nation, which is 80s what I guess what used to be called heavy metal. But you find you drift around the dial too, right? You'll find what you like. And for our folks in Canada, we've also have a fair amount of Canadian content. Canada Talks, Channel 167. There's CBC and some other options down the dial. And for our U.S. drivers, Joe could speak to it, but there's a lot of Spanish content, I believe, right, Joe, on the dial.
There are 15 or 16 Spanish/Latino channels throughout SiriusXM, and they're continuing to improve that and add to it as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
I can tell you that in that rental car that I had, I gravitated towards the comedy channels.
Yeah.
Well, it kept, and I think the reason I did that, it kept me engaged.
Yeah.
You know?
I've recently discovered, here we are talking about just channels now, but I've recently discovered Triumph, and there's Dr. Laura on there, who I used to listen to years ago. I'm like, I can listen to Dr. Laura again. So yeah, you kind of, you pick your content, you move around the dial a bit, but there's a lot there. And the point is entertainment and content. And that's our, we kind of lead with that. And then it goes into, what are the benefits of them having that content? Well, it's distraction free. You can set your presets. It's coast to coast. You're not streaming your phone. You're not, potentially creating an unsafe driving environment. You're not meant to be looking at your phone anyway. So it controls it. The other, I just have stuff here I can show. We're on a podcast, so it's easy, but, we're in, and Joe, you might be able to speak to this better than me, but about 40% of OEM trucks right off the bat. But it's for those trucks that don't have SiriusXM installed, it's very easy. We can get you a new head unit that will marry up with your steering wheel controls, or we've got simple plug and play radios like our plug and play lineup, and they they easily install, and you can get a truck antenna that mounts outside on the mirror if it's necessary. So it's very, very easy to install the product and make it work. And a lot of our fleets kind of mix and match how they go about installing the radios. But I think they find how the drivers really enjoy it.
The one part that I think really speaks to, this is a safety podcast kind of, and speaks to safety, is if the driver's mind is engaged, then they're awake, and they can better navigate the roads and deal with the other, I'll be polite today, I don't know why, drivers on the road, because that's their challenge, is trying to get to the end game safely all the time. And if they're awake and engaged, and as I say, I gravitated towards the comedy channels to be engaged, because some of those guys they were funny. And I don't drive a truck today, and my car isn't Tesla isn't Sirius compatible at the moment. So
comedy is on the top 5 all trucking top listened to stations. Usually one of the comedy channels comes in the top 5. Fox News is number 1. Go figure. No Dull Trucking is number 2. And then usually, comedy falls in 3 or 4.
Wow.
Well,
yeah, very popular.
Well,
and talking about the safety aspect, the thing that me and David have tried to do is, we talk to these fleets, and a lot of fleets, they're worried about distracted driving, but they're not providing any alternative. We've got forward-facing cameras. We've got all these tools. We've got all these things, to say don't do distracted driving, but we're not providing you any tools to actually entertain you while you're on the road.
Yeah.
So me and David talk to a lot of fleets and say, hey, why don't you mandate, SiriusXM throughout your fleet? Hey, we're going to provide you a tool. This is for your entertainment while you're on the road. No YouTube music, no Spotify, no Apple Music because you're using your phone. But here, we've provided you this one set tool, and this is what we expect you to use while you're on the road. Provide you the entertainment benefit, and it reduces the distracted driving.
And a couple of weeks ago, you just mentioned YouTube. A couple of weeks ago on as a guest, we had Doug Marcello, and Doug's a lawyer from Pennsylvania, and he's a truck-friendly lawyer. He's a trucking defense attorney, but he mentioned that currently, if a driver is streaming YouTube music, that post-crash, when they do they take the phone and they analyze the phone, all the attorneys see, or all the court gets to see, is the fact that the driver was on YouTube. It doesn't say it was YouTube music. It just says YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And so now the driver's going to be accused of watching videos.
Absolutely.
So Sirius would take that away.
Yeah, big time.
Go ahead, David. You were...
Yeah. No. I just, you bring up a lot of good points. And I just keep, you mentioned the driver being focused while he's on the road, or he or she's on the road, and how that affects them being easily distracted. And yeah, that's exactly it. And that's why the content's always ever changing. They try to mix up the channels. And in terms of, again, going back to our fleets, you're not only just providing a benefit for your drivers, which looks good, right? It's saying, hey, thank you very much for driving with us, and we appreciate everything you do. So here's SiriusXM, enjoy it. But yeah, as you said, it really reinforces the company's commitment to saying, what, none of these devices should be plugged in. No watching videos or any of these things. We're providing you the tools to be safe on the road, and I think that's driven home with a lot of our customers. They really embrace that.
God damn, David, we've been bugging you for over a year to get on the show with us. And the reason I really wanted you on the show is I do believe in my core that Sirius can help drivers go down the road distraction free. I do believe it's a safety tool. And that's why I wanted you guys on the show. Yes, I know we're promoting Sirius and we're going to talk about it, but my motivation is to make our roads safer. And I believe Sirius does that. So
Right.
how,
Well,
sorry.
I'm just going to say I can attest to that because with having Sirius in my vehicle, I've got about 5 or 6 presets, and everything works for my steering wheel, and it's so slick. Like commercial free. A lot of the music is. I'm in the mood to listen to Road Dog. So I'm listening to something going on.
Yeah.
And if there's something comes on that doesn't interest me, well, no problem. I love blues music. Over to B.B. King's Bluesville, and listening to that. And then, hey, As It Happens comes on at a certain time of the day on CBC. I want to hear that. So, but it's so cool because it's so easy to get to it, and I get to listen to it anywhere. So to me, that is really a big help. As Chris is saying, it reduces that distraction of me trying to go through the down. Where are we at? This is already set. I got what I like.
Yeah, and that's what I think in a lot of ways, we've had a lot of success at the OEM level. As we said, we're in upwards of 40% of the trucks that arrive at the dealership anyway right now. So it's been embraced. SiriusXM, obviously been around a long time now, but on the trucking side of the business, it's been pretty constant and pretty consistent. There's other aspects to the program as well, and we like to say it's a highly valued benefit at a low cost, and we can speak a bit to what that looks like. But our fleet customers benefit from a lot of different perks on the business side of things as well, and that's ranges everything from cost. We have priced this in such a way that it takes volume into consideration. We centralize billing, put all these. I have many fleets that have a couple hundred trucks. Joe has fleets that have a couple thousand. All of this invoicing is centralized on one statement for them. We can bill quarterly, very, very flexible solutions to allow these fleets to be able to manage the account and add and remove trucks as they sell them, and just allow the service to go uninterrupted for everyone.
And roughly how many stations are there on SiriusXM?
There's 150 roughly on the satellite radio in the cab, but that number changes depending on the chipset you have in your radio. But there's also the added perk with the fleet program that we, at least in Canada, I don't know if you still do, Joe, but we include streaming access with the service as well. So if you want to pass this out to your drivers when they're off the road, they can use their phone or their tablet laying in the back of their truck with their headphones on, going to sleep, and they've got another couple hundred channels at their disposal. So it's
wow.
Altogether, there's 465 stations if you include the streaming channels. So there's quite a few stations. And the way we always pitch the streaming is, hey, it's a benefit. Buy the radio subscription for your driver while he's on the road. And then when he's not on the road or he's at home, let them use that app as a benefit, another added benefit. And they can use it in their own car, at their own home, at their barbecue, tailgate, whatever it may be.
On the boat, whatever they want to do, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, boat. I never thought it's going to work out in the middle of the water.
Only so far, that's another big business for us, boating.
Yeah.
We've got a huge marine business because your phone only works so far out, so then you need the satellite radio again.
Right.
Well, and I mean, let's be honest. That's the benefit in my mind of Sirius is if I'm running through the mountains, I'm going to mostly have something to listen to.
Absolutely.
The stupid question, I guess. Does it work in tunnels?
So in a lot of the newer vehicles, there's a 5-second, what do you call it, David?
Buffer.
Yes, 5-second buffer. So there's a 5 to 10 second buffer. So generally it'll work in the tunnel until you get to the other side. It's a very long tunnel. Then yeah, by the end of it, it may cut out for a second or two.
Okay. No, I just was curious, because
Yeah,
most radio stations don't work in the tunnel.
correct.
No. And the other side to the business too, you just made me think about tunnels and such, but we're not necessarily just Class 8 trucks as well. I have a lot of mining customers that drive heavy equipment operators, that type of thing that have, so they may have a trucking fleet, but they may also have 100 Caterpillars or 100 heavy excavators and such.
Sure.
And same thing, anywhere where there's an operator who's spending a long time in their vehicle, these companies can activate the service in a variety of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the truck.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, even your farm equipment, tractors, combines, those have all got radios in them. And hey, if I like SiriusXM, then why haven't I got that in my tractor or my combine, right? So yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I think, Joe, you were spending some time on the rural side of things as well, right? Like on the farm side.
Yeah, I've been spending more time there. I feel like there's an opportunity there. And I think
Sure.
the same thing. I mean, avoid distracted driving, provide entertainment to keep them focused. I think it's a no-brainer. The guy's sitting in the fields for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. He needs something to keep them occupied. So yeah, we've been kind of going after that. I know we have a relationship with John Deere and some other manufacturers.
Cool.
Okay. I got one more safety question, kind of. Is there a weather station radio channel?
There's not a dedicated weather station on the dial. Road Dawg does give weather updates.
Okay.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, it would be pretty boring to listen to weather across the nation.
Yeah.
But if the bad weather's coming or hitting one area, so Road Dawg would be alerting the listener.
Road Dawg.
I've actually listened to some of their weather alerts, weather forecasts and whatnot. And, they're not telling all regions of North America or the US. They're just going, here's where the happening is over here, snow and ice and whatnot here. But, if it's sunny in South Carolina, they're not talking about it. They're just saying, Joe will let you know it's sunny because he's out on the golf course. But other than that, hey, it's snow over here in Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we need to discuss here about SiriusXM and safety for the drivers?
Yeah. Again, I just thank you guys for the opportunity to bring us onto your show and onto the podcast. So we appreciate it. And again, I don't profess to be an expert in the trucking industry, but I know from the customers I deal with, and they're all very engaged. Taking care of their drivers is incredibly important to them, and they're very passionate about it. And the drivers are very passionate about the companies they work for. So we're kind of lucky to that aspect that, when we come on board, kind of help tie the marriage up, if anything.
Yeah.
I guess one of the, it's worth speaking to price a little bit, but I think because there are misnomers that, SiriusXM is going to cost me so much money to add to my fleet, I can't afford that. I like to say, if you were going to buy your drivers a cup of coffee a week, is that affordable for you? And if I could show you something that's going to be at least as beneficial as that, would that be of interest to you? Plus, it's going to build on the safety aspect of your organization and encourage safe driving, help drivers be distraction free. Would that interest you? Well, that's us for our fleet plan. We come in under $5, starting from under $5 a month. And there's no surprises or anything like that. That's the price, and it pretty much stays that way throughout your program. The drivers that we have, again, if you don't have the hardware, we can help supply hardware, so we can make this all very, very easy and very, very simple. And a lot of times we'll work directly with your operations team or your dealer even to make sure that you've got the right hardware to make it fly.
Well, if I could add one thing, I was actually talking to one of your customers here a few weeks ago, and he was raving about it. And he pays for all his drivers to have SiriusXM in the cab of the truck, plus in their personal vehicles.
Oh,
And
wow.
he said one thing that has really been good for him: retention.
Yeah. It's being on the sales side of things. Joe and I promote recruiting and retention outside of safety, right? Promote this because it helps with your recruiting. It's going to help with your retention. Don't underestimate it. The other thing I'll leave it, or we haven't mentioned yet, I guess, is once you sign up with our fleet program as well, we've also got an employee plan that you can send out. So it's not public facing. It's unique to our customers. And you know what? If people want to pay for their own radio, well, here's a good deal for them. It's not quite as discounted as the fleet plan is, but it's certainly another benefit you pass on to your team as a perk of working at the company.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
is it correct for me to say if you are a Canadian fleet, reach out to David? His contact info is in the show notes down below. And if you're an American customer, reach out to Joe. Is that how it should go?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay. And their contact
That's
info is in the show notes down below. Thanks so much, guys, for coming on the show this week. Appreciate your time. Thanks, Joe and David, so much for coming on to the show and discussing the safety benefits of satellite radio. Don't forget to leave us a like, a comment, and perhaps you want to subscribe to the Trucking Risk and Insurance podcast. Next week, we'll be back.